Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the return of the Dynamite recap. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you, but now I'm back with a new co-host to entertain y'all. I got David Perry over here to my right. I believe it's to y'all's left. David, why don't you let the people know, give them a little bit of info about you, why you're here, and why you're excited to be joining the recap for Dynamite here tonight.
Man, I'm extremely excited to join the GOAT, Mr. Jimmy Drip King, baby. We up in here. And, you listened to the podcast I was on, shout out Evan Mack. He brought me in and you thought that I did a pretty good job. And honestly, I think you're quite entertaining and you know what you're talking about when it comes to any type of pro wrestling. You know your shit, I think I know my shit. And I think we're going to have some good chemistry.
Absolutely. I'm just here. I believe in positive. If people are being positive, I want to give them the opportunities to out there and shine, and that's basically what we got going on here. I appreciate the little. I know my shit. I really appreciate that. I'll never get tired of having my I guess my horn. Like you giving me my props, and I'll never get tired of that. But
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, and you seem to know your shit as well. So we gonna find out some stuff together. Let me get to these comments, and then we're going to jump into the show. We got Tidy here jumping off. Tidy. I want to talk about what happened to Cody on Raw, but I guess I'll wait until Sunday for that one. I'll talk about that one. And then I got my girl in the chat. She's asking, they're going to talk about some RuPaul Drag Race up in here. Yeah. It's this one, man. It's this Friday. And she said, looking good. Thank you. It's to let them know that the stream is good. She broke this news to me. I thought she was always telling me I look good, but I found out she just let me know the stream's looking good. But it's appreciated anyway, babe. It's appreciated anyway. And she says, hello, David.
What's going on, Amanda? Pleasure to meet you. And then what's going on, Cam?
Cam in the chat. Thank you for joining us again, Cam. Much appreciated. So we gonna
hey, I appreciate that.
We gonna skip that one.
Hey, we got a fan.
I appreciate that, babe. You looking good as always, though, too. So tonight, as I was talking to my man David here before the show, I was having some buyer's remorse after last week's episode because I was like, it was good, but I wasn't super excited. But then tonight's show happened, and we both agreed it was a great episode tonight. I'm very much looking forward to talking about this one.
Yeah, it was a dope ass episode, man.
Yeah. So they started off, usually Orange Cassidy's on the card. They're like, we're going to kick off with Orange Cassidy. That wasn't the case tonight. And I was like,
right.
That's interesting. Made me think Orange Cassidy was going to lose his title, which had me a little bit worried, but we'll jump on that one later. They start off with Cesaro versus Rey Fenix in a double Jeopardy match.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I had no idea what a double Jeopardy match was prior to this match. I'm glad they explained it, though. They did a fantastic job.
So, it meant no entrances.
yeah, that happens from time to time. But I'll talk about that a little bit, too, because I noticed something about tonight's episode that I think is kind of hilarious. I'm not mad at it because I love it, but I know there's a certain fan base that's not a fan of it, and I'll be curious to see what they think about it. But Cesaro and Phoenix, the double Jeopardy. Whoever wins basically gets the title match later on at whoever they beats title. I like that. I think that's an interesting concept there. Yeah. It adds to the number one contender match thing that WWE did there for a minute where they fought a champion. If they win, they get a title shot. Much better scenario here, I think. What'd you think about the match, though? I'll get your opinion on that. What'd you think about this match?
I thought it was balls to the wall action. And I like the fact that Cesaro was letting Rey Fenix get off. And just the physicality of it. It's like we was watching a New Japan match. It was very, very, very physical. I think Cesaro busted some blood vessels on his chest.
Yeah. They was getting very, very physical in this match, and I like that.
Love it. Love it.
What was it? The spot. I don't know if it was planned, but I know that Cesaro went for the suplex and he was carrying him up the steps, and then it looked like he fell down, and then Phoenix reversed it. I thought that was cool. It's just little things like that always get my attention. Just because it's different.
Right by the back corner.
Yeah.
It was a smooth transition that Ray Phoenix did, man. And then I love that physicality outside that Cesaro was doing to Phoenix, man. That's the type of stuff that I like when I'm watching AEW. I don't want no cream puff. I'm watching it because it's alternative. I want that hard hitting, smack the skin off of your chest.
I'm glad they went with Ray Phoenix over Penta because I'm a big fan of Ray Phoenix. I'm not a big fan of Penta though, and I want to see Phoenix and more opportunities like this because I think he's got so much to offer that we haven't really seen in AEW.
So explosive.
Yeah.
And he's got a different type of charisma, swag to him that Penta could never have. It's it's the colors, it's everything to go along with it. Penta's dark, Ray Phoenix, he brings like a bit of a flamboyance, a bit of a flair to him, and I love that about him. And he has the moveset to go along with how he dresses. So it's a match made in heaven to me.
I think his style goes with the fighting style a little bit better too, because Penta's a little bit more no sell, balls to the wall, high flying stuff. And Phoenix does high flying stuff, but I think he can just do the fighting style a lot better than Penta. So I'm glad it was him. Love Ray Phoenix. Yeah, Ray Phoenix is so dope.
He's that guy.
Hey, if the Penta's your guy, I'm not going to hate on him.
That's my brother right there. Shout out my brother Jerome.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, tuning in. Appreciate you, Jerome. Penta's not my guy though. That's just my thing. I'm not hating on whatever everybody likes.
Unless my brother loved him when he was back there taking everybody's arm and just breaking
it. So Cesaro got the win. And he's going to get a match against Phoenix and Penta for those the Ring of Honor tag titles. Who do you think Cesaro is going to pick for his partner for that match whenever it happens? I'm not sure when it's going to happen. But
it's got to be Yuta. It has to be Yuta because Brian, it seems like he's out there just coaching and then at the same time just destroying the competition when given the opportunity. I'm sure we're going to get to that later, though.
Yeah. So I think Brian's kind of taking the role of William Regal, what William Regal was doing. But then he can also jump in the ring and just bust somebody's ass because
I think they got to add somebody if that's going to be the case. They got to add somebody. The question is,
we'll get to that one too. Because the main event opened up some doors to things, and I'm excited for that. But I do think Brian's kind of transitioned into like a little bit of a managerial role, which I'm not hating because literally everything he does is fantastic. But Cesaro
he needs to let his body heal too.
Probably that match against Max probably messed him up big time.
I thought he was going home for a while after that match. Good God.
I would say Yuta is definitely the guy that he should take up. Let me get this real quick because him and Moxley would just be unfair. Him and Brian would be unfair. Him and Yuta kind of even some things out. So yeah. And then with that, what do you think the chances of them taking the titles off the Lucha Brothers are? Seeing as how Cesaro's already the Ring of Honor champion, do you think they'd add tag champions in there with them?
I think they could, because if you're going to establish anybody, you should establish the Blackpool Combat Club. And to further establish them as arguably the most dominant faction in pro wrestling, if you put more gold around their waist, especially with a little Wheeler, because eventually I think Mox is coming for the throne. But we got to get to that point. So if you put the more gold around Cesaro's waist, put gold around Yuta's waist, you get them more of a prestige, more of a, je ne sais quoi to them. Yeah. We'll get them where they need to go.
They start to look like that, the elite club, not the elite, but they look like the elite faction in AEW and Ring of Honor.
Absolutely. So, just dominant, running through everybody except Max. Max is in a world of his own, but everybody else, they're running through everybody.
Yeah. So I can see them. I can see them taking the titles off Lucha Brothers. I haven't been keeping up with Ring of Honor, so I don't really know what's going on with it. But I can see Blackpool come back. Yeah. So we'll move on from that. We will go to backstage. Our first surprise of the night. We have Miro showing up.
Man, I was shocked.
Yeah. I saw they did the whole legs cut up thing, and I was like, okay, who's this? And then they showed he was bald, so I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait a second, that's Miro. that's Miro.
Yep.
Oh, I was hyped. And then asked a question. He didn't answer. He just walks into Tony Khan's office. And I'm like, okay, this is
Tony
Khan
got some love tonight too.
Yeah, jump right into it. I like it. So
I love that.
It was an awesome show. Yes, tonight's show was amazing. It really was. It was really, really good. We all excited for Miro. It's about dang time we got Miro back on the TV. Support the homie. Hey, appreciate that, man. Hey, pull up.
Shout out Chef Justin. Shout out Chef. Cook it up, baby. Cook it up. Slide a plate here. You heard me?
Appreciate you staying up past your bedtime just to support your man David here. Appreciate it. So after that, they go to an MJF pre-taped video package, and he basically cutting a promo on the Pillars. He didn't have a video package. He was cutting a promo on the Pillars. That's what it was.
Right. I love that too.
Okay. So prior to tonight, were you feeling this feud?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not, because if you're just going to do the 4 Pillars match, why are we going to do all this extra shit just to get to the 4 Pillars match where we started from in the first place? And it made absolutely no sense to me just to have, all right, we're going to have this elimination semi-tournament, I guess is what you want to call it. And then we have it. And then, you know what, Max, Sammy, you guys cheated. So we're going to give them a chance to go back. That's some WWE booking, man. Stop that. We ain't got to do that. Just get to where we want to see, where we want to go, because now we're on the road to Double or Nothing, and then we only got really 3 weeks to kick it in. We could have been building it up this whole time. So it's just the whole jumping around to get to the point.
They dance around.
That's what I didn't like.
Yeah, the first week that came out, I was excited, but then since the first week up until last week, they kind of been dancing around some things. I ain't mad at the match we got last week, but just too much dancing going around.
Absolutely.
I did like MJF's promo tonight, though, because it was different than what he normally does.
Absolutely.
And it was shorter than what he normally does. Because sometimes
he built them up this time. He just didn't tear everybody down. He built them up a little bit.
Which is what he's building this competition. Yeah, I think he's better when he builds people up than he is when he tears them down. Because then when he builds them up, then he beats them. It makes him look better, which is the whole point of the thing. So I wish he did it more, because he did it so great tonight.
Because he's great at it. He's great at cutting promos. My whole thing with MJF is the cheap bullshit he always has to do. He doesn't have to do it. He's great. Doesn't. He's phenomenal.
Tonight was a perfect example of it. He don't need to do the cheap shit. Yeah.
And then it's great. It's great when he does shit like this. It's believable that he's the best professional wrestler in the world. When he's throwing a drink in a kid's face, it's not as believable. Sorry.
Hey, I get what you're saying 100%. I just don't like when he's just he just does the what is it? The bidding war of 2024. He relies on
that shit pisses me off too.
Yeah, he just relies on too many of those cheap tricks too much to me. But again, when he gives us something like tonight, every once in a while, I just get tired of his nonsense, and then he surprises me with something. I was like, this is why I fell in love with this dude to begin with. So I'm glad we got one of those tonight, and I hope they stop dancing around things and they just go balls to the wall all the way up to Double or Nothing from now on.
Absolutely. Hey, Jimmy, I think this might be the first time since he's got the title that we got reminded of who MJF is.
I think he had one against Brian that I was like into.
Maybe.
But I couldn't remember it, so I remember this one. Tonight's was really good. I remember this one. So yes, I want to see more of tonight's. This is the part of the show where I'll criticize anybody who does this, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back to back like video package segments, interviews. I don't like when people do that.
I did. Yeah. I was like, there's a lot of building going on, and it's cool. And I like that they're trying to build characters, but the problem with that is they have to slowly do it to establish what they're doing. You can't just roll out 6 back to back. That ain't it. Like Renee was running around. I thought she was a track star. That's how much she was moving.
The whole concept of AEW is that it's supposed to be a more wrestling based program and show, and then when you do stuff like that, it's kind of like it kind of sends mixed messages. Again, tonight, I'm not going to complain too much about it, because everything that happened tonight, I don't have one complaint about tonight's show. I just don't want them to keep doing this because it's like and for the people who are like, you're a WB. No, I will complain when WB does it as well. I promise you. I really just don't like it when you just do. I think 2 is the max.
Right.
Here we go. 2's the max. 3's pushing it. 6 was like, whoa, bro. Because next up,
you can't run back to it. It makes you want to tune out because all you're doing is hearing people talk. Like I like the talking, but it has to be building towards something. I don't want you just to talk. It has to build toward a match. You know.
So
and then go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say the MJF one works, and then the next one works. It's the FTR thing, and I like what they did with the FTR thing.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
We'll talk about that one, and then we'll get into the one I didn't think worked in this spot because the whole Jericho. No, I'm jumping ahead. The FTR thing. They come out, they call out Mark Briscoe, then Jarrett, Lethal, Dutt, and I never remember homeboy's name, the big monster guy.
Satnam Singh.
Satnam Singh. Okay, so he comes out and like, answer our challenge. And FTR is like, we'll accept your challenge when you admit that you're using Mark Briscoe. And then Mark Briscoe comes out and he goes, I tell you what, I got an idea. I'm going to be the referee. Y'all going to fight at Double or Nothing. I was like, okay, this is cool. This is a segment. This is a situation where a special referee makes sense because I think they've done the angle pretty decently.
Yes, they did.
And they all went to share a drink because that's the whole thing the Briscoes and FTR shared a lot of. If anybody listened to Dax's podcast, which, oh, man, it saddens me that it's gone because it was such a good podcast.
It was.
But they shared drinks a lot. So everyone's sharing a drink, and then Dutt spits it in his face and Dax's face. Dax is blind. Brawl starts. Briscoe's trying to stop it. They throw him into Dax, and Dax pile drives him. And for a second, I was like, what the heck did Dax just do that for? And they're like, he's blinded. And I'm like, oh, that's right. He was blinded. So it was very well done. And they're checking on him, and Jarrett and all them, they get to walk away laughing. The evil bastards got away with what they wanted to do. The whole
There's one thing I didn't like.
Oh, okay. Let's hear. What is it?
The one thing I didn't like was just the very end. It's like he just pile drived him. All of a sudden, you can see.
Yeah. He did. Get his vision back pretty quick.
That's the only gripe I have about it. He didn't even wipe his eyes with anything. Like, oh, you can see now. 5 seconds ago, you couldn't see, but now you can see him.
I did notice after he pile drived him, he was over there wiping his eyes.
Okay.
Like immediately after, but still, I feel like I don't know. Maybe Cass.
His hands are sweaty. I get it, but it's just a small thing. It's just that's the only thing about that I didn't like. But everything else worked. I loved the pile driver though. I loved it because then you're adding the intrigue to Mark Briscoe, and then on top of it, it ties into the vignette they had the week prior. They went down there to the chicken ranch, and then they were with him. Oh, you want to go against FTR? So it's like, okay, so what is he really gonna do? You know, I loved the whole segment except that little bitty part.
I got you. She says, yeah, she felt bad for Renee too because she's earning that paycheck tonight.
Yes, she was.
You don't like MJF. That's the point, though. You're not supposed to like him, so I guess he's doing pretty good. I guess
he's doing his job. You're supposed to hate him.
Yeah. But so that segment, like I said, I liked it. I'm not excited for the match because I don't think Jarrett and Lethal should be getting another title match. But they've sold me on the match, with the storytelling they've done, so I'll buy into it. But now we go into the next segment that I just didn't think it just didn't work for me because of the placement. Because we already had 2 segments, and then we get to Jericho, and he's basically saying like, I got some papers here, and Adam Cole isn't allowed in the building when I'm in the building, and yada, 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 and so on and so forth. And it just kind of stretched on a little long, and then Roderick Strong comes on, and I love Roderick Strong in the ring, everybody, but he shouldn't be cutting promos. Sorry. I don't think anybody would be disagreeing with me on that one. And then he cuts ones. I do like the fact that he was like, yo, I got papers too. And Jericho
was smart.
I did like that. That's a cool little added thing into it. I really like the idea of it being a false count anywhere because Roderick Strong challenged Jericho because if Cole's not allowed in the arena, Roderick Strong's going to fight for him.
Right.
And he's challenging him to a fight. It's false count anywhere, which means that fight could leave the arena. And once it goes outside, guess who can get involved? So I do think it was done very well. At least the back half was done well. With the
beginning wasn't done well at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was too long. That's my thing, especially when we just had the Jarrett one took forever, but it was there was a reason for it, so I'm not mad at it. But the Jericho one was like, come on, condense it. We don't need to be this long.
It's the hottest angle in AEW right now, and Adam Cole's not on the show. I did not like that. After he took off last week and beat the dog shit out of him essentially for those few seconds, and then he's banned from the arena. You're killing the heat. It's like you're putting a fire extinguisher on the heat. Now when we're going to see Adam Cole in a couple weeks, maybe next week, and then he's a baby face at this point in time. So it's like, what are we doing? Like, so is he gonna do something dastardly, or how are we gonna get him involved? I just would have rather not seen, like you said, the whole lawyer crap. Like keep it away, because we ain't had Adam Cole for God knows how long, and now you're taking him away from us for another week. I just didn't like it. I did not like that.
To be fair,
that's the hottest angle they have.
Yeah. To be fair, I think what it does is it kind of gives you more reason to hate Jericho, though, because I love me some Adam Cole. Like that's one of my guys.
Yeah, I guess. And that part works.
We're excited to see Adam Cole tonight, but then we're like, oh, we can't because Jericho kept him from us. It's like, yo, I hate you, Chris Jericho. So that's how I looked at that one. Because at first I was like, no Adam Cole tonight? What the hell? We can't say boom. Right. We can't say baby. This is the worst night of my life. But then I'm like, oh, okay. I see what they're doing here. It's effective. I do like the idea behind it. It's just way too long, Chris.
But it's so hot, though.
Adam Cole.
It is so hot. I just felt like they took some steam off of it when they could have been stirring the embers.
Yeah, I think what it'll effectively do is cause Adam Cole to kind of, next time we do see him, we get more of that fire that we got last week when he just Danny Garcia just ran after Jericho. I think we're gonna get more of that because of the fact we're gonna be kept from seeing him. So
we'll wait and see.
Yeah. So then after that, we go to another segment, and this time it's Thunder Rosa. She returned exactly like Miro did. Just shows up, said something. I didn't catch it because I was eating at the time, and then she goes into Tony Khan's office just like Miro. What appears to be happening is they're setting up for the Collision show on Saturday, and these talents that are returning are kind of like, hey,
yes.
And then all the talents that are doing these little meetings with Tony Khan are the ones that are going to Saturday night.
I thought the same thing, the exact same thing.
Also, to be fair, I really thought that we were going to see this at the end of the night. Doing the same. I was like, oh, we going to get Punk showing up, going to Tony Khan's office. Thank you very much. It didn't happen, though, so I was upset. But
we got his name mentioned. And we've seen him twice. And we've seen him in that video twice. It's crazy. Like, all right, I'm like, okay, I see you, Tony. You got to get him back. Hey, he just needs to put more energy into keeping his body together.
He just needs to stop doing suicide dives. And jumping in the crowd.
Well,
just don't dive anywhere. That's literally it. Just don't dive anywhere.
Because his body will break if he hits something too hard. I'm sorry, Phil.
There's no need to do it. There's no need for him to do it anymore. So then next week, we get the Sammy Guevara video package, in which right here, she's like, I love Sammy's promo. I did too. I liked all the promos from tonight as far as the video package stuff goes. But here's where I'm going to get into something, is because for forever, I've talked about how AEW needed to kind of, they needed to incorporate video packages somehow. They don't need to do it exactly like WWE. They just need to do it some way to kind of keep things not fresh, but keep people invested when there's weeks where certain people can't show up, or maybe I missed last week's and I don't know what's going on, and they give me something that helps me kind of get invested back into it. Like, okay, that's what I missed. I'm back caught up. Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks ago they started doing this. Maybe it was 4 weeks ago. I don't remember exactly. But since they've started doing it, I think the shows have gotten immensely better. Like even last week's, even though it wasn't that great to me, it was far better than most of the other stuff they'd been doing to me. Because again, I feel like they're putting in the effort to really help fans follow them, as opposed to just rely on me to Google things that I don't know. Sorry for the diehards. I know you guys know everything. Not everyone knows everything, so the video packages help.
Exactly, because what if last week somebody had something important they had to do and they had to miss the show and they don't have the ability to get TBS or TNT on
TNT,
Rewind.
yeah.
So you gotta wait and read about it. Or how about we give them a video package and remind people? And just in case you
1 minute.
forgot, even if you didn't watch last week, here you go. It's right in the forefront. I love the fact that AEW's done that because it's adding like either chapters to a book or layers to a character.
Yep.
And that's beautiful. Whoo, that was a bar.
This man's spitting bars over here. So I think tonight's video package, I think Sammy's was the most effective because Sammy has this horrible aura around him based on like people's perception of him. And I get it because he's done some pretty horrible things back when he was a younger guy and they've stuck with him. And I get the people's anger towards him. But I've met him since then. He's a wonderful dude. He's very nice, very generous. And I think everyone when they're young does dumb shit. He just happened to do something really dumb.
He shouldn't have said what he said.
He shouldn't have said what he said for sure. But I believe in giving people second chances. And again, when I met him, he was wonderful to me and my kids. So I can't really hold too much against him, I guess.
He seems like an authentic young man who made some mistakes and he's trying to own up to them. He's becoming a man in front of our eyes. Yeah. He's married. They want to start a family. So he's maturing and people need to understand that they're young. They're young. They're babies when they get into this business. What's he, 26?
I think he might be 28.
28, that's still young. I'm 35 years old.
He's still young for sure.
I'm just now figuring out life. I'm just now being able to articulate my thoughts about wrestling, how I want them to be delivered, and figuring out how to get myself and my own thoughts across. I'm 35 years old. I'm working at a bank. It took me this long to start to figure out the right steps to life. This dude's 28 years old. So let's just give people time to figure it out.
Yeah, anybody that thinks they have life figured out before the age of 30, they're lying to themselves.
Lying through their damn
it ain't happening. So, but this video package, I feel like gave Sammy some kind of, I don't want to say, I'll say it, sympathy. Like it gave him some layers that we have not seen before yet with him, and it kind of made me get behind him a little bit more.
He's gonna get that baby face run because they're kind of doing that with all the elite access. They're giving him sympathy. They're adding that to his character.
And just to touch on the All Access real quick is I have a buddy who literally hates Sammy Guevara, but he's been watching All Access, and he said of all the people on All Access, Sammy Guevara is the one that he kind of is following the most and actually likes the most on the show. So
yeah, because he had the balls to sit down and talk with Eddie Kingston. He did that regardless. He had the balls and he did it, and it is what he did. You got to respect that. He could have not done it. He could have been a little bitch. He could have been a coward. No, he talked
like everyone thinks he is, and it would have been
right. He did it. I mean, Eddie Kingston could have smacked him in his mouth, but Eddie Kingston gave him the respect to be like, you know what? I messed up too. This is what we need to do. We need to be professionals. And they went on and they were able to mend the fences somewhat. What's wrong?
Yeah. So
I do have a little bit though before.
Go ahead.
I like the sympathy that he's getting, but I don't like the tweener. Like, all right, 2 weeks ago he was with MJF, and now we're trying to get some sympathy on him. We need to make sure we got him on the right path because I want the babyface run for Sammy, get him away from the JAS, but we need to stick to that path and not, all right, we got him having sympathy, and then we're gonna go back and make him dastardly again.
So I think what happened is in that tag match is when he kind of snapped out of that tweener nonsense. Like I think that's when he realized MJF's using me. And he kind of was like, I'm tired of it, and started doing his thing. And just for the record, he's 29. He turns 30 next month. So, he seems like he's a guy who made some mistakes younger, and right now he's starting to figure it out. So that fits in perfectly. MJF was never – no, he wasn't. And he figured it out last week, and now we're starting to get a different
segment. The hard way.
Next week, then after that, we get the next segment, and it's Tony Khan, who's basically just saying that he has an announcement for next week. I guess I was lying earlier when I said there was no parts of the show I didn't like. I didn't like this. It didn't make sense to me to have like, I'm going to make an announcement that next week I'm making an announcement and y'all already know what that announcement is. So it's like,
Do you think it's going to be the deal?
What's that?
You think it's going to be the deal they're talking about?
I think it's going to be the Saturday night show. That's why they had the Miro and Thunder Rosa thing kind of started tonight, because they're like, I'm assuming their thing is going to be like, we want to come back, but we're not coming back with these people. So they're going, oh, we'll create a new show for you. We'll have a separate thing, and that's where they're going to go. And I think that's what the announcement will be. And then I think he'll also kind of announce that they have a new deal, and their TBS and TNT are their home for the next 5 years, however long the contract is.
There's and I'm no the same energy. I'm at that same energy that I had towards people who complain about the draft. They got a big roster. Let them split up their roster.
For sure. They definitely need to.
They need to get that money. People need to be seen because
they weren't getting seen on Dark and Elevation.
Starts, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. They weren't getting seen on Dark and Elevation. So I really like the fact that they shut those down, because I know some people watch on YouTube, but they were not getting seen. And then put them on Saturday night and allow these people to get more airtime. For sure. It's a brilliant idea, because their roster is huge, and you should definitely be using it that way.
Absolutely.
But that's all I'm going to say about the Tony Khan announcement, because it's like you just made an announcement that you have another announcement.
That just wanted to talk.
Time.
He wanted to talk. Get a little FaceTime.
Next up, my man Orange Cassidy had another match against Daniel Garcia for the international title.
Man.
My man Orange Cassidy stole another one while telling just the most beautiful story he possibly can in that ring.
Love that dude.
But man, anybody be hating on Orange Cassidy? Oh, hold up. Hey, no problem, Cameron. I appreciate you joining me. I'll see you again on Sunday, my man. You could just always check it out tomorrow too.
Thanks, Cam. I appreciate you, dog.
Man. I know you did, but not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people
tough.
do. Yeah, there's a lot of wrestling going on. It's like
there's a lot of we gotta sleep sometimes, and some of us got regular jobs too now.
But how did you like the Orange Cassidy? Because I'm still figuring some things out about this. I don't know who you like.
Favorite match, bro. That was my favorite match. Everything meant something. Everything meant something. From the stomp on his hand, the kick to his knee. Everything, even Garcia's ugly ass dance. I don't care. I love every part about it. It was great. It was great, man. Like I have no problem with that match. I love the ending. That roll up was fun. Whatever it was, I don't even know what to call it. I've never seen it before.
Oh man, what's he call it? I think I'm gonna look it up.
It was like a victory roll crucifix type.
He has a name for it, because him and Darby both have one, and it's cool that they have like these like roll-up pins that they use when things are going like completely against them. I'm gonna find out what it's called, but
I loved it. I loved it. And I thought, man, Garcia, that dude's special. He is. I don't like his voice, but he is special. That boy's special.
So I don't like him as a Jericho Appreciation Society member. I think it's too much for him. But I do like Daniel. I think Daniel Garcia is fantastic.
He is. He just needs to switch up something. Everything about his working style. I think he might be the best technical wrestler, at least top 5 in the world. The way that man works, he can do whatever he wants. But if he can add a different layer to his personality, maybe that would work better and get that sports entertainer nonsense that doesn't work for him. He needs to be him and Wheeler Yuta need to be a tag team.
They got to find a, I guess, personality that works for him, because I don't think they've found one yet. But there was a point where Orange Cassidy did the suicide dive and he tweaked his knee, and I was like, oh man, that's not good. That's not good. But it was part of the match. That's how good Orange Cassidy is, everybody, at just selling. Like, and it's such a great thing. I love when people can sell. And Orange Cassidy, when the year started, I didn't care about Orange Cassidy. Now I'm like one of the biggest Orange Cassidy fans there is. This whole title run has been phenomenal. He's won me over. And tonight was just no different. It was just no different.
His entrance, everything about him, man. Everything about him. It just works. Dude, the dude came out in the Jan Sport book bag, bro. Come on. Man, shout out Orange Cassidy. Man, I thought I was in high school watching his ass in that ring. Let's go.
What is that? So we'll move on from that. Orange Cassidy wins. Of course he wins. I don't see him losing anytime soon, especially when we find out who his next opponent is. But we'll get to that in a minute too. Christian Cage promo. He comes out, nothing really crazy here. He just calls out Wardlow, Arn Anderson, brings up daddy issues.
Then I think the crowd messed that whole promo up. Christian wasn't feeling it, man. He kept flubbing his words.
He did. I thought that was weird that he was flubbing so often, but
I've never seen Chris. They had him. And he said kiss my. I think he meant that the kiss my ass because
he said that with his chest.
AEW, they do the shut the F up chance, but at the end of the day, they're for pretty much they let you get your shit in on a promo. But it's just like, and the disrespect that man got, he's like, really? I can't even talk.
Christian's one of the few people in AEW that's managed to get heat, like real heat. Like I think he gets more heat than MJF does, honestly, because I think people cheer MJF a little too much. Christian's been able to get heat, but tonight something just seemed off. I don't know what it was, but it definitely did seem off.
It was different.
But Christian versus Wardlow, I guess, is happening next week. I'll tune in because I do like Christian. This one just kind of seemed a little forced.
Do we care?
Not at the moment. I'm willing to watch to see what happens, though. I'm willing to
see watch. I'm gonna watch. We gotta talk about this, but it's like Chris.
It just came out of nowhere.
It's just frustrating. He lost all his momentum with Jungle Boy. And then it's like, because I'm Christian Cage, I get the title shot. Sure. But this company, another thing, they're going to have to talk about what happened there. Have we ever heard about what happened to the ranking system? Like I thought there was a system going on, but we just forgot about that. I'm just curious.
So I think what happened is last year when Hangman Page took on Lance Archer, and it was the beginning of the year, and Lance Archer had no wins, but he was supposed to be Hangman Page's next. But then next week he shows up. He had a match on Rampage. He had a match on Dark. He had a match on Elevation. Then he had a match on Dynamite. And within a week, he went from 0-0 to 4-0. And it was literally just so that they can say he's number one in the rankings. A lot of people called them out for that. And since then, I think the rankings have been pretty much gone. But also, to be fair, the TNT title has always kind of been like a open challenge thing. So,
but it's an open challenge. But again,
it's a weird pairing because I feel like both lost their momentum.
It could have went to Luchasaurus besides Christian Cage because he just came back and people will be more believable because he's the heater. And then you bring in Christian Cage after Christian Cage beats the dog shit out of Wardlow. I'd be into that, but you thought it was him. It's me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch. I think Christian can go, but it's like it's just a match.
I'll see if they add anything to it because there's still a possibility that Christian adds a little something to it. Like next week's a bait and switch. We don't get a match, we get something different. So
you know how he rolls.
Christian ain't got no Dom heat. There ain't a soul on the planet that got Dom heat except for Dominic Mysterio. That's for another day. That's for another day.
That's another day. We don't even need to talk about that. Like
next up,
the 3 letters don't exist.
Next up, we got a Darby Allin video package.
I like
to go
that one
with
too.
The Sammy Guevara one, and then the MJF promo and all that.
I think sold me on Darby Allin.
I want Darby to win. I know it ain't gonna happen. I want Darby to win though.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Drip. I want him to win too, but I don't. It just ain't the time because MJF. But the thing with MJF is that is he going to be able to draw more people? Because if he's not going to be able to draw more people, they're going to have to put the title on somebody else.
Yeah.
Because because you're supposed to be this big draw. What did you do all this shit for? And then you're not even getting the viewers that Mr. Brooks is getting, because that dude pop up. I bet you next time he pop up, he getting 1.3 easy. Everybody gonna tune in. Everybody. It don't matter if it's Saturday, Monday, Sunday. Don't matter. It could be in the middle of the day on a Tuesday. He getting 1.3. CM Punk.
Yeah. So to me, when you're in this kind of situation, it's like, why not put it on Darby? Because I think Darby Allin is. Maybe I'm crazy. I think he's more marketable than MJF. If you market him the right way, you have to market him the right way. But
kids love the dude. Kids love him.
don't think they've figured it out yet. And I think they might be a little bit hesitant to, just because of the fact that he's so dangerous with the stunts and everything. But it's like, man, pull the trigger on him. Just let's find out.
Gotta see. Out of those other 3 people, sure, Sammy in a couple years, but Darby's ready.
Darby's ready now. And he has a made-ready feud coming out of it with Sting that's going to be just top-notch stuff. Yeah. So
when I knew he had the ability, I knew he could wrestle, but when he put MJF's ass in his place with that promo, that was gold. I'm like, give him the title. Just go ahead. Yeah. Let's see. We got to figure it out. You can't have this young talent and not go with it. You got to go with it. But MJF, sure. But other than MJF, you got to go with this young talent. Yeah. You got to.
Ain't happening.
It ain't happening, Courtney. I'm sorry.
He has the least likelihood of winning
this time. 2025.
So next up, we get the Anna Jay versus Julia Hart no holds barred match. It was a no holds barred match.
Yeah,
it popped off quick. It was Anna Jay attacked her from behind, so that was interesting. And then they had some spots that made me go, "Ooh."
I thought we were gonna get blood, but we didn't.
I'm glad we didn't, because it made the main. And this is a big thing too. Obviously, Mox was in the main event, so we already know he bled in the main event. But had someone bled in this match, I think it would have took away from what happened in the main event. So I'm glad this is something they never it's almost like they were blind to that. And it seems like, maybe we've learned from it and they didn't do it. So props to them. I'll give you props, buddy. You did the right thing by not having blood in the women's match. Yeah. It was an entertaining match for it was the end of that feud, I assume. It's been going on Rampage. I'm glad it got to conclude on Dynamite and not on Rampage. Gave these girls some shine.
Gotta get a girl some shine.
Julia Hart is like 21, I think. Dude, she's so young. She's gonna be a beast.
Young.
Yeah, she's gonna be so good.
Julia Hart. She gotta get a little bit of run, get her a little bit of TV time, and honestly, just give the women the shine that they deserve, and not just a quick little bit. Yeah, give them a couple matches, because unfortunately, outside of Impact Wrestling, women's wrestling has been lacking fairly across the board. They need that shine because they're good. They're just as good as any other dudes. It's just as entertaining, and people need to get over the ability to see 2 women go at it, because it's entertaining. It's just like watching 2 dudes, and sometimes those women can do more.
Yeah, sometimes they're better than the men, 100%.
Yes. Jamie Hayter is one of the top 5 wrestlers in AEW, and I don't care what anybody says. That girl can go.
Say with your chest and stand your ground, man.
Jamie Hayter can go. I love her accent too. It's pretty nice.
Oh, she's absolute sweetheart too. Met her in February. Absolute sweetheart. After that, we got a Cassidy Best Friends Bandito promo. They're talking about their match. They basically said they get to pick a stipulation for their match coming up, and they said, no witches at ringside. Okay, it works for their gimmick. I'm okay with it. But that's all the thing was. So we gonna move on to the match, because we got House of Black.
They asked Orange Cassidy if he couldn't go out to the match. He said, "No, I ain't got it. I'm
just tired.
I'm tired.
I feel it, Cassidy. I feel it, Cassidy." But House of Black versus Best Friends and Bandito in the trios title match. What was it called? It was an open house rules match where it was like, it was 20-second count out, no rope break. The arena was turned black, and they beat the hell out of each other.
And it was quick.
Yeah, it did seem like it was a quick match. I feel like, see, this is what I'm saying with like that 6 segment, the run they had. It's like, man, if you would have took one of those out, or if you would have shortened them up a little bit, this could have got more time and it could have been effective. I know, again, as a WWE fanboy here, me saying any of this stuff is kind of weird, but I'm basically speaking under the pretense that I've been told AEW is the different show. So if you're going to tell me you're different, you got to show me you're different. And this was a situation where they were not different. It was kind of like you sacrificed match time for a championship match for a Chris Jericho segment that just went. Or
because if I'm not mistaken, that Anna Jay Julia Hart match that started at around like 8:25, right? Like 8:25 around that time.
I think it started about 8. 8:05, I think is when it started. It started. I think it was the top of the hour match.
Yeah, because all right, because I know
the Darby video package started at 8:00 on my clock. I know mine's a little behind, but it's not crazy. It was right
after that. So yeah, all right, with the commercial, because they had that's the big thing with AEW though. Yeah, you're right. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was like 8:05, 8:10. But the problem with AEW is they think it's okay to go ahead and run the match while you having commercial breaks. It is so hard to watch a match. I can't do it. I lose track of the match whenever I hate it when the other company cut the picture-in-picture. It's stupid because you always have it in a little picture, and it's hard to find, especially in a hardcore match. It doesn't make any sense.
And what happens is I'm too busy listening to the advertisement, so I'm just like, oh, I'm hearing about pizza, but they're beating each. It doesn't make sense. So I'm focused on. Usually, I just go to my phone at these moments and just wait for the show to come
Twitter.
Back. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. But short match. I don't think anything crazy in this match happened. I love House of Black's chemistry. That's about the best thing I could say about the match. It wasn't a terrible match, but it just was nothing special. House of Black wins.
It was just what's the word I'm looking for? A wrecking ball of a match to get towards Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. That's because it was quick, it was destructive, and they did the job. But again, if they just gave them matches a little more time to breathe outside of the commercial breaks and this and that, it'd be a little bit better. It's a lot better when it gets a chance to breathe a little bit.
Yeah. After that, we got Orange Cassidy. He was attacked in the back, and they pan out, and it's Aussie. It's the Kyle Fletcher from Aussie Open. There we go, Kyle Fletcher.
Aussie.
Yeah, I love Aussie Open. I'm not really sure why this is happening. Maybe I missed something that happened. I'm not sure, but I'll watch the match because, again, I think Aussie Open's awesome, and Orange Cassidy is phenomenal. So I'll check it out. I just didn't really get the whole idea behind it. That's
probably give him a match just to get a win under his belt to push their streak. That way you can't, unless you're gonna have, unless that boy Will Ospreay's ready to come back, and then they could beat him down, and then you get Will Ospreay.
Okay, I thank you for this because if this is going to lead to a Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay 2 match,
I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness, that was
I just thought about it. I just blew my own mind.
Yeah, that was my match of the year last year. So if we're running it back for the international title, oh my goodness, yes, please.
Man,
I do this.
Please
give me that shit. Ooh. After that, we got the Jungle Boy video package. I think his was the worst of the 4. Not the crap on Jungle Boy, because I do like Jungle Boy. It is
what it is. We know what Jungle Boy is.
He can't talk that long. It just doesn't work. It's just he just seems uncomfortable when he's talking that long. So
right. He needs a mouthpiece. He needs a mouthpiece. That's a shame. It's a shame they took Christian from him. It's a shame.
He
needed that tremendously because he was so much more over with him. So much more than honestly, he's not even a pillar to me. He's an afterthought.
Yeah, I think Britt would be in his place.
That easily.
I don't know, because when he was in a tag team, it worked. So that's the catch there. Because I think when he was a tag team, he was a much more bigger deal and effective. Yeah.
But Christian could talk for both of them, though.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's all a Jungle Boy video package, just like Sammy's and Darby's. It just doesn't hold up to it, and that's probably why they put it on last. That would be my guess. But I can't wait for the match because the dude's going to go in the ring because that's what he does best.
That's what he does.
From there, we got the Ricky Starks promo on Jay White.
Man, that's my boy. He took a
about
picture
Ricky
with
earlier,
me.
So I'm going to let you just go ahead and get your shit in on Ricky.
Man, Ricky Starks is the man. He is that guy. He's the absolute. He's the future of AEW.
I have a vision.
If you ask me.
I have a vision right here. Give me the vision.
That's my dude. And then hopefully they get him back on the track that he was on prior to when he went to MJF, because they have just shoveled dirt on this man. I feel like he's been buried. I don't understand why. Man. He's got the charisma. He can go. What the fuck is Tony Khan doing? I don't know.
He went from MJF to Chris Jericho to Juice Robinson. I was like, what are we doing
what
with
are
Ricky?
We doing?
I hope he goes to the Saturday show. That's all I'm gonna say. I really hope he goes to the Saturday
better.
show. Yeah.
He better. Because they got gold in that man. They've got gold. He's something that like other than MJF, don't nobody got what that man has in that company. Maybe Adam Cole. But it's different. It's a different package. I'm talking about that flair.
Yeah,
like
flavor.
They try
you
to
look at that man. You like
Daniel Garcia, whatever.
He's
they
a
don't
cool
work.
dude. Like I see Ricky Starks. I'm like, man, he is a cool dude.
Cool.
And he can go. He can talk. Like he's got the whole package. It's like, man, what are you doing with him? Took too long to get him where he's at now. And then they just went. I don't know. I really hope he goes to Saturday though. I do.
They better figure it out before they don't have the opportunity to figure it out. Somebody does, and if that happens, that'll be a damn shame.
I will say this: that there's another company that is probably licking their lips at the opportunity to get their hand on Ricky Starks because he fits them perfectly.
Look.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
The last light-skinned brother another company had that had like that doing movies right now. So let's just say, you know, hey, they better not let us. Hey, AEW, I'm trying to warn you. Look, slide in my DMs. I give you some advice for a few bucks. You know what I'm saying? Look, push him to the moon.
Like he got to do something with him. Not.
That's why I love that.
Jay White's. I don't know because they haven't really done anything with Jay White, but he just got there, and
they just signed him so WWE couldn't sign him.
But now you got a situation where you're feeding Ricky Starks, who kind of got a bunch of momentum, to Jay White, and it's killing his momentum just to get his up. But it's like, man, it's weird. I didn't like the idea of putting them together. The match would be cool. I do like their promos back and forth because I like Jay White. I like Ricky Starks. It just seems like
I love Jay White.
It's too soon. Too soon to be
way too soon. Each other. Like they should have brought Jay White in and put him against one of the best friends or somebody. Build him up that way. When we get Ricky Starks versus Jay White at All In, we can buy into that because look, they're both established. No,
Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy would have been a great first thing for Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
He can do whatever he wants to the Jungle Boy. It'll be okay. Like
that'd be perfect. That would have been perfect.
Now it is time for the main event.
Shout out, Goldman
bullet points real quick, and then we can talk about what it is we need to talk about. Man, so the match started outside the ring.
Yeah,
Omega was coming down. Moxley jumped him. Then out comes Yuta and Claudio. They attack Omega. Young Bucks come down. They attack Claudio and Yuta. They start fighting. They get in Brian's face. Brian says, "Don't mess with me." So the Young Bucks get taken out, and they get taken away by security. And this is all before the match even starts. Then we get into the ring, and they pull out a chair that's wrapped in barbed wire. We got a double foot stomp from Kenny Omega onto that chair, which was on Mox's back. That just made me just do a little dance. I'm not liking the look of that one.
Brother, I was cringing.
Yeah, but then Moxley hits a superplex on Kenny Omega, landing on that same exact chair. That made my whole body just like tense up. It was so bad.
He put all his might in that chair shot.
Yeah. Then Mox pulls out a bag, and you're like, "Oh, here comes the tax." It's not tax; it's broken glass. Then we got a beast trigger through the cage, and then I'll stop there because the other two parts are very important to the finale. I won't even talk about the finale. We'll get a little bit in on the. Jay White's awesome. We'll get a little bit in on the match, then we'll talk about the ending. Man, this match was brutal. It was violence personified, and I've always thought that Mox and Omega was the highlight feud of AEW. I think it's like the biggest match they can have with the people that they have. And they always kind of prove it to me when they get in the ring. I don't care about the finale of an exploding ring match because everything that happened prior to that was great. I think the dudes have magic together, and I like that we're going back to them because, again, I think they're the feud for AEW. There's no bigger feud for me.
I couldn't agree more because the chemistry they have is second to none in their company.
And you can clearly tell they both love AEW.
And it's completely contrasting styles.
Yes.
It's just beautiful. Like sometimes you get like like Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, completely different styles, but when they get together, they create magic. And I think that's what Kenny Omega and John Moxley have when it doesn't matter what type of match, because John Moxley can have a normal match in his hardcore. That doesn't matter. Kenny Omega, it doesn't really matter because he's going to ball out, and the moveset that he does and the elegance and the grace that he does things with is just phenomenal. You put those two beautiful wrestlers together and the beautiful minds that they have, and they just create a masterpiece. It was gorgeous.
Absolutely. For the people who've been listening to me for a long time, I've not been the nicest person about Kenny Omega, but I'm man enough to admit, like, I'm starting to come around to him for sure. He seems like a wonderful human being. And I think when he cuts down his V triggers, I'm okay with him. I just don't like it when he hits like 20 V triggers in a match. The V trigger tonight was pretty sweet though when he went through that cage. I'm not gonna lie, everybody. It was pretty damn dope.
Yeah, it was.
The match, it did exactly what it's supposed to do, because the entire time I was like, oh, this is violent. This is violent. This is violent. They're beating the hell out of each other. You can clearly tell they don't like each other, which is what we're supposed to think. We get to the end. So Kenny hit the V trigger through the rope. Oh, and we were talking about how they do screen picture-in-picture during the commercials. They used it perfectly for this match, because when they did picture-in-picture, all we did was see John Moxley taking the top rope apart. And that took a very long time to do. So I liked that they did it in picture-in-picture, because I could see that he was doing it. And then when they came back from it, instead of me being like, how'd that happen? I knew how it happened. It's because Mox is a crazy man. And I think that's how you're supposed to use it, the picture.
Yeah, that is a great analysis about that specific commercial break, because it gives the story of the match. And they told a beautiful story too. Go ahead.
We didn't need sound for it. We didn't need it to be on the thing. We just need to know, oh, okay, so that's why it's happening. Okay, I'll see what's going on.
Perfect.
So Kenny hits the V trigger, goes through the cage. Thankfully, he didn't screw his leg up, because he got caught. I thought for sure he messed his leg up, but he didn't. And then to see Mox just kind of get up from him, like, oh, I was like, oh, dude, he is a real life movie villain, man. It's crazy. Throws Kenny back in. They start fighting. Kenny gets the upper hand on him. And no, he went to use the screwdriver. That's how he got the upper hand.
Yeah.
Mox tries to come in with a screwdriver, and Callis comes in through the hole in the cage, takes it out of his hand, and that allows Kenny to hit him with another V trigger. I think that was number 4 on the night. And then he goes for the one-winged angel.
Boom.
And as he does, Don Callis says, not today, Kenny. Bam.
Bang.
Moxley pins Kenny 1, 2, 3. And then Callis afterwards he seems conflicted there for a minute, but he gives Kenny a kiss, and that's the end of the show. And it's like, what just happened? So what I think is interesting about this is because I was like, man, Blackpool Combat Club technically is outnumbered here. So what are they doing to fix that? Takeshita now clearly, I feel like, goes with Blackpool Combat Club.
Definitely.
And the analogy that they did at the beginning of Blackpool Combat Club was Mox said, you can't fight with me until you've bled with me. Callis and Takeshita have both bled at the hands of the Blackpool Combat Club. So it makes perfect sense for them to join them. It falls in line with their whole MO, and it was done masterfully, in my opinion. This was a great way to end. Like, I totally forgot that I was expecting to see CM Punk at the end because of how great the ending to this match was. I just loved it. I thought it was done perfectly, and it got me even more excited for the 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, whatever, blood and guts, whatever we're going with this. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna. Well, and last year was dope, but the issue is the Jericho Appreciation Society. You can only get so many studs in there now.
They're not a part of it.
This really means something. You got 6 or 7 of your top super studs in that show. The best pro wrestlers are the best pro wrestlers. You're going to get blood, and you're going to get buckets of it.
You're going to get the ones that really, really get in there and get their hands dirty. So it's going to be a blood. It's going to be a bloodbath. My girl ain't watching this one with me. She won't be able to. It's going to be too much blood for her. But I'm excited I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be an all-out war. And this might be the best blood and guts they can do that they've had so far. Because I think the other ones have kind of been duds. But this one I think has the potential to be like big time for them.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Mox said this.
Completely agree.
Mox said this was the apex of wrestling right now, and it's like it's hard to argue with you based on what you're giving us right now.
Yeah, he says he's the workhorse in all of professional wrestling. Nobody can do what he does. He can do anything, any style. And you know what? He's cutting great promos these days, so you really can't argue with him.
No.
And
Mox is the workhorse
the way
of wrestling.
the way he carried AEW. It's just like kudos to John Moxley, man, because they wouldn't be in this position without this man. He's still going.
And that's why I say that Mox and Omega is the feud, because Kenny is like the face of AEW, but Mox is the heart and soul of AEW. So it's just a perfect combination going there. I don't remember anything that they announced for next week. I assume Cassidy and Kyle Fletcher will be next week. I think maybe Ricky Starks and Jay White is next week. Other than that, I don't really know what else they got going, but I'm sure
Christian Wardlow.
Oh, that's right. Christian and Wardlow. That's right.
Roderick Strong versus Chris Jericho.
There you go. So that's 4 matches right there. That's good right there.
And they'll probably do something with the pillars.
Yeah. The ratio here that we're getting with matches and segments and promos and all this other stuff, I think is a great blend that they have. They finally figured out the perfect blend. And again, that's why I'm back here doing the recap. So with that said, great show tonight. I'm so glad that tonight was the night I brought back the recap, because that was
man. I had an absolute blast, bro. Look, I felt that chemistry, man. I felt that.
I appreciate you joining me. I look forward to hitting up these shows in the future with you, man.
Yes, sir.
And with that said, everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. And we will be back next week with the same recap. Well, not the same recap, but you know what I mean. And with that with that said, everybody, laters. And don't forget, just enjoy wrestling, everybody. It's not